Okay, hello everybody, and welcome to this quarterfinal match for the LEGO The Hobbit Restricted Any Percent Tournament. Today we have two very strong runners fighting against each other in a best of three format to see who will progress to the semi-finals and remain in this tournament as well. We have FlamingLazer, current second place on the boards, and Gamer Olive, who's only a few seconds behind, but fourth place on the boards, I believe, right now. But yeah, this will be a quarterfinal, best of three match. It looks like the runners are pretty much ready, so yeah, if they can both get to the point where they can skip the cutscene, we'll start this first race as soon as possible. And yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this one. This will be a very hype race. Also, just in time we got Was It with the raid. That's very hype as well. We love to see that. Welcome in, everybody. This is our LEGO The Hobbit Restricted Any Percent Tournament, getting towards the final stages. And yeah, we're in these final stages of the tournament. The winner of this will stay in the tournament. The loser will be eliminated. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. But it looks like both the runners are ready. So we will get this first match started in 3, 2, 1... go. Good luck, runners. And yeah, we do have a bit of a time delay before we get the runners to start on screen. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. This should be a very hype match, and it looks like Laser might be starting a little bit earlier. Oh no, both starting at about the same time. Maybe a 1 second head start for Laser, but nothing too major. But yeah, as they're all underway now, we can kind of go through what this run entails. So this is a run that takes about 20 minutes or so. The record for this category is 22:44 by the Hamster. But Laser, who is second place, has a 23:21. And Olive, who I believe is not far behind in fifth, I want to say. Fourth place, sorry, has a 23:25, although technically earlier today I did beat that run. So Olive is fourth place on the boards for the moment, but will be dropping down to fifth. That's my tiny bit of self-promo out the way. But this is a very consistent run. A lot of most of the time, a lot of this is very skill dependent. There's not too much RNG in it, which means basically everything the runners do will be within the runner's control. And we see the prime example of that with this very first, or very early trick that we have in this run, known as Gem Skip. And what Laser is going to do in this next run is he's going to be running past the transition and jump diving, so double jumping over the transition and dropping out kind of just as he was about to hit the camera pan trigger. And by dropping out, the non-playing character will be able to jump, effectively travel over the activation zone for this camera pan, and Laser misses it. Laser missing Gem Skip is an immediate setback, and we'll see Olive go for it here. Takes their time on the setup and gets it. And you'll notice for Laser, the doors at the end of the room are now shut. For Olive, they are not, so Olive can go straight through. And for Laser, that is a catastrophic time loss. That is about how much is that? That is, I want to say, a minute 30 if Laser knows the right backup, the right 1P2C. This is kind of the room which you don't really ever play, because in a actual run, if you were to get to this point and miss Gem Skip, you'd immediately reset, because it takes basically the amount of time to reset and get back to this point as it does to just straight up play the level. So we see that here. We'll see, yeah, Laser's got to build, get all the pieces here. Is missing some gold or waiting for a box to respawn as well. Or not waiting for the box, maybe just wasn't menuing to the right spot. But yeah, that's a huge setback for Laser right now. Olive will be, you know, stretching out a lead more and more as we go on. Laser's got to do this mini game of building a key and then hit it with the axe or whatever it is. Can't quite remember, but yeah. huge setback for Lazer. So the narrative of this first run is mostly going to be, can Lazer kind of eat into Olive's lead here? As long as Olive doesn't make any major mistakes, definitely has the advantage, is going through the mining section here. And yeah, looks to get stuff relatively cleanly. We're going to see another big one try on Olive's side now. This is barrier skip, which saves about 30 seconds. But basically what you've got to do is jump over a barrier before the barrier starts to form. Olive having a huge load, but that doesn't matter too much because this game's timed load removed. But yeah, Olive jumps over the barrier, and because of that is able to skip basically this entire room of supposed movement you're supposed to do. And instead just jumps down here, like so. And yeah, it's the door for the next room. And yeah, Olive is going to be stretching out a huge lead while Lazer is in this room. It'll be interesting to see kind of what the timings are at the end of this level. But it looks like it's a minute and a half straight out the bat. Olive has another big room to navigate here, though. This is Gold Room. And what you've got to do here is try and get a vertical buddy up, which Olive has achieved. And then we'll be buffer jumping across the gold. Normally, if you land in the gold, you get, like, taken down by the gold, like that for Olive. And you kind of fall back down and your characters respawn down below. It's like a kill plane. But if you land there frame perfectly without having pressed any inputs, then that doesn't happen. And you're able to save. Or you're able to skip basically the entire room. Olive is really struggling with it right now. Just doesn't seem to be getting the right landing. Yeah, is landing like too far on this gold piece. You're seeing a lot of the runners will just avoid that gold piece. That's kind of supposedly on the death plane because it's just really awkward. Lazer meanwhile hits barrier skip and will be closing this gap. Obviously, still a substantial lead for Olive, but Olive keeps messing up this trick. This is definitely nerves. Nothing else but nerves here. Very easy to do, very easy to happen. But it's terrifying when the muscle memory breaks here. And just like that, Lazer's going to be pretty much in the same room as Olive. He's kind of squandered all of that lead, and we're certainly not seeing any PBs from this first run, that's for sure, for either runner. But yeah, they're in the same room. Unbelievably so. Olive just can't get this gold room jumps. Got a shot this time, but falls at the very end, and just like that, Lazer's going to have a shot at taking the lead. Goes for the single player gold room jumps, which are riskier, but can save a second and a half. Because what Lazer will do is hit a door at the very end of this section, which will respawn both characters up on the platforms. And then both will... yeah, and then we'll be able to end the section, but... Man, Lazer was handed... Oh, sorry, Olive was handed a golden opportunity on a silver platter to be able to take a commanding lead in this race 1, but... Just... Gold rim jumps completely cooked it, at least for the moment. And somewhat unbelievably, Lazer misses misses gem skip, loses a minute 30, a minute 40, and will be in the lead. 7:25. Oh no, Olive is still slightly in the lead. I guess Olive did have longer loads there, but 7:19 and 7:25 are so bad. Like, both runners will be like, this is really not what you want. Worst case scenario for starting a run for sure. And I think both runners will be feeling that, but you know, that's how tournament play goes. I think this will be a big test of both of their mentals as to whether they can keep with it, keep strong essentially. Obviously, I don't know if either runner is going to be looking over at the other and seeing what's going on. Olive takes the lead back with the first try bush launch. Lazer has to get a slow second try. So Oliver's probably stretched the lead out to maybe 10 seconds or so. From the 6 seconds out of Greatest Kingdom. I know Lazer, for a fact, will be probably keeping an eye on Olive's pacing throughout this run. But I don't know if the reverse is true. I don't know if Olive will be doing the same for Lazer. Because if Olive's doing the same for Lazer, Olive's got to realize that, yes, yes, Olive had a bad Greatest Kingdom, but in the grand scheme of things, it just doesn't matter. Genuinely, it's fine because, you know, you've only got to beat the person that's put in front of you. And Olive is currently doing that, currently leading. But yeah, the way it goes. We'll see if... Well, we'll see how the rest of these runs go, yeah. Olive right now is plus a minute 47 to PB. Lazer's plus a minute 56. PBs are out the window. All that matters here is racing faster than the other person. It's kind of interesting that in my, like, pre-top 8 prediction, I think I said Lazer has the ability to pull out phenomenal paces, but Olive is the more consistent one, and Lazer will make big mistakes. Lazer immediately makes a big mistake, but Olive was not consistent enough to capitalize on it. Misses sign launch as well, and taking an unfortunate route with P1 there, and that means that Lazer will be taking the lead back. Olive's got to get this sign launch over the bridge, does so. But yeah, Lazer will be ahead, for sure. Interestingly, immediately goes for the one-player death. Doesn't bother messing around with 2 players at all. Maybe it was a bit delayed on the fall or something that we missed. That was a very interesting one from Lazer. At this rate, we'll not be getting 0 studs though. No, takes a death. We have a race on our hands. Somehow, out of nowhere, we have a race on our hands. When it really should be Olive a minute or so up the road at minimum. But yeah, that's the way it goes. I'm interested to see. And there we go. The second splits. The looking for proof exits. Loadless. Load remove time. They are neck and neck. 10:30 on the looking for proofs. For context, both of these runners, PB for both of these runners is a sub 8:30 looking for proof exit. They are both having really bad runs. So yeah, it's the magic of tournaments, man, that you could have a run like this and still be in contention. I mean, Lazer visually has a big lead on the screen, but I think it's practically nothing. I do believe he will have the lead right now. I have no idea by how much. But I just think he saved a little bit of time just in the movement up to here. But we see another big one try here. This is birdless. So what Lazer will be doing, and what Olive will be doing, is moving Gandalf up here and then getting Gandalf stuck in this collision, so he's moving permanently, like vertically downwards. And then both players are going to wait for about 13-14 seconds. And Lazer will be building up, and Gandalf will be building up a lot of vertical downward speed. To the point where Lazer will hit the pillar, Gandalf's vertical speed goes down, reflects off the ground, and bounces him back up above the trigger. And that was very nicely done from Lazer. This is a one-try trick because you break the pillar that it's on. So it's very, very nice to be able to get it. If you miss it, it's about a minute 15. Olive just about gets over the invisible, actually lands on the invisible. That is terrifying, but technically that's more optimal because it's like the minimum height you need. Yeah, that's very scary for Olive. And yeah, I do think in that sequence, Lazer has picked up a small lead going into the Azog fight, maybe like 5 seconds or so, but it is so close between the pair right now. While they're in this Azog fight, I'm going to see if I can refresh Olive's stream and maybe catch it up a little bit. See if that does anything. Yeah, I think that did a little bit. We'll see what the difference is at the end of this split. It looks like Laser is in the 3rd phase, Olive's in the 2nd phase of this Azog fight. Small nuances to this Azog fight that both runners will be going for is trying to predict the button prompt that comes up. Basically, you have 3 buttons. It can be X, it can be A, it can be B. You know that whatever button was pressed, it cannot be that button again. So it's always a 50-50 between the other two after the first one. And you can kind of use that to like hedge your bets, second guess what buttons it's going to be a little bit. And of course, the more 50-50s you get right, you save a tiny bit of time each time. Like a couple tenths. But yeah, the good thing is for each runners, for both runners, they've kind of appeared to have steadied the ship, as it were. Obviously, for neither of them, the first 2 splits have been what either of them would be after, but it seems to have settled down a bit now. Both of them are having clean Necromancers. Laser slightly cleaner than Olive, but maybe that's what we'd expect. Olive just seems to have a bit more consistency in later game than Laser, but Laser has a very strong early game in PB. And yeah, what we'll also see from both players here is both players will be taking deaths with both Gandalf and Radagast to get down to 0 studs on both players. Unlike most LEGO games where it saves 10 seconds to do that only in the first level, it's not possible or really difficult to do that in the first level of this game, but in every level it saves about 3 or 4 seconds, including the first one if you can get it. So with taking the deaths here, it is very important in order to be able to get just that small amount of time save. I mean, this game right now is, in terms of PB competition, in terms of tournament play, in terms of everything, it's a game of seconds. Laser, or Olive in particular, has won races and matches by less than 10 seconds on multiple occasions. I think Laser might have done the same at some point. It can all come down to seconds, and any seconds you can save are good seconds to save. So yeah, we'll see both these runners go down to a good amount of go down to 0 stats. Laser's finishing off this last phase. Olive's got a little bit left on the phase, but it's looking pretty even for both. We'll see. Yeah, Laser split time right now 16:53 on the splits. Olive will be heading there shortly. Looks like Olive definitely has lost some ground. But not, you know, a major amount. Just a bit here and there. We'll see that now from Olive. Yeah, 17:06, 13 seconds. More than you'd want for the Necromancer. And what I also missed at the same time was Laser getting Icicle Launch. Icicle Launch is a big trick that Olive's going to have to try and get to be able to replicate what Laser did. You've got to do a pickup launch on this particular Icicle and get enough height to... that was unfortunate. Get enough height to reroute around... What has happened with Laser? Laser crashed. Oh my. That is such an unfortunate crash from Laser. Crashing on entry to this level. That is such bad luck, and yeah, Laser's gonna have to redo Icicle Launch. Remembers to put no cut back in, thankfully. I would have forgotten to do that. And that's gonna throw the game back over to Olive. Nothing Laser did wrong there. Laser just seems to be the victim of crashes right now. Also had a crash in his week 1 match. Oh, someone forgot to turn VSync back on. As long as Laser doesn't take advantage of this, it's fine. Laser knows not to take advantage of that. That's good. Yeah. Smart move from Laser there. Olive, meanwhile, gets fast OTD. And yeah, we'll be stretching out a lead here. That's so unfortunate for Laser. It's going to end up costing him about a minute overall. And this is the kind of lead Olive should have had out of Greatest Kingdom if, you know, Goldrim was half decent for him. But it didn't happen. And yeah, maybe some divine intervention is in play for Olive right now. But Laser's not too far behind, that's the thing. Laser's going to be going for fast OTD. Gets it first try, while Olive gets a statue launch. At the moment, they're in the same room. Laser taking a death there, but we'll be playing it safe, not going for statue launch. Which loses about 10 seconds optimally, but Laser prefers to do this in tournaments because it's just that much safer. You're not relying on buddy up RNG, and also the launch itself for statue launch can be difficult. But it does allow Olive to potentially stretch out a lead, but is this deja vu? Olive is not getting the right spot to be able to get the height to do this hover. Gets it there. And gets the hover onto the upper platform to end this this section. We'll be taking the death as well for 0 studs, that's good, but again, the door's slightly open for Laser. Laser gets the vertical buddy up. We'll be going for the horizontal to go for the spin launch, which is kind of the more conventional, I guess, older generation of runners' way of going for this. It is a little bit quicker optimally, but you are relying on the RNG of the spin, and it's not great for Laser. Also, Laser picks up the stud with player 2, and that's 0 studs out the window. But we'll see 1953 exit for Olive. Again, for both of these runners, a good exit here is somewhere around the 17-minute mark. They're playing... Sorry, I need to transition that. 1953 for Olive. 2011 for Laser. 18-second difference. But both of them are about 3 minutes adrift of their PBs into this level. And that's just what can happen in tournaments, but something like this is, for both of them, pretty catastrophic blow up. Like, Laser missed gem skip and then had the crash. The crash, obviously, I can't put any blame on Laser. Missing gem skip, I can put blame on Laser. Olive struggled with Goldrim and then had a bad OTD. I did say at the start of this run that 90% of things, or most things in this game, are all skill. Very little RNG. And yeah, I think the mistakes from Olive have been nerves mistakes. You know, Olive knows this is win and in, lose and you're out. Which is always terrifying. Uh-oh, stream, please don't drop frames. No. Okay, hopefully stream comes back and resettles. Yes, okay, we're fine. Sorry about that internet moment. But yeah, now we're back. We can see kind of Olive going through this section. We'll be going for the camera pan skip here, lining Bilbo up just behind these scales, and we'll be rolling Bilbo off the edge and timing it so that while this flail thing is being done, Bilbo's rolling off the edge. And what that does is it triggers the camera pan for this upper section where Balin was, but also the lower section where Bilbo was. They're both triggered at the same time. And as a result, we'll be yeah, you're able to skip a camera pan down here. It's one of those tricks where if it goes right, you won't be able to see as a viewer that it's gone right unless you know kind of what it looks like when it goes wrong. Olive gets a clean chandelier skip as well. Second try over the chandelier is not too bad. Does not opt to go for toast slide, which is the smart thing to do. Definitely the smart play from Olive. We'll see if Laser goes for it. Laser might go for it just in this position. I don't know if Laser knows if he's behind or not. Gets a second try chandelier skip as well, but it was a late second try. It would be interesting to see what their times are entering the unskippable cutscene, but unfortunately we don't have the ability to see that. Which is unfortunate, but... yeah, that's the way it goes. It's definitely looking strong for Olive. If I was to estimate it, I'd say Olive has about a 30-second lead right now, but it's so difficult to tell. Because I think Olive is behind on loads. And that is kind of a key thing. But yeah, no, this has been, for a run where neither runner has played what either of them would call well, it's actually quite an interesting run so far. Quite an interesting race. Hopefully, I hope, yeah, both of them can finish out this run clean, because that'll give them a lot of confidence, and hopefully mean we have a very good race 2 coming up as well. It would be nice to see Olive give Laser a really good run for his money as well here. Olive is probably the slight underdog going in here. I mean, the PBs are only a few seconds of difference, but Olive has less experience with running this game and running in competitions. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. Plus Olive is the newcomer as well, so Olive is still in the running for the newcomer bonus, which is an extra $25 on top of any prize money that Olive may earn, or even not earn, depending on placement. Gets Loz launch just about with player 1. No, falls down. And that opens the door up for Laser a little bit. Goes for the slightly safer method of the backup launch by breaking the collision. He'll be struggling to get a launch off the debris here. I think even if they look tied RTA, it's probably Olive slightly on the advantage, but Olive struggling with the buddy up here. Gets it eventually, gets way too much height and launched off somewhere. Fair play to Olive for actually knowing that that keeps you on the platform. I did not know that. And yeah, Olive is hanging on in there. This might be about even when you consider the gap between the two in terms of loads and stuff. Honestly, not sure. But yeah, they're both in this kind of 1P2C section, the small 1P2C, and then we have the final launch of the run, which is Jack Launch. And Jack Launch is a particularly infamous launch in this game because, well, it's just tough. It's one of the most inconsistent ones. There is a setup for it on keyboard, which I'm sure both players will be going for, because it just makes it that much better, but it's still a really rough trick. But yeah, they've got to throw these torches. We see Laser drop out P1 on controller, then drop in P1 on keyboard. And we'll see how this Loz, also Jack launch goes. Clears the debris from this box, and then we'll be going for a pickup launch across these boxes. Gets it first try. And we'll be finishing out the run here. We'll see what Olive can do as well. Olive struggling a little bit. Gets it eventually, and with that we'll be finishing off right here. And those are the final times. 26-24 for Laser and a 26-48 for Olive. So Laser takes game one just barely. Yeah, very close race, all things considered, considering the amount of things that went wrong on both sides for both players. Yeah, it was pretty close. But yeah, GG's to both runners. That does mean Laser will take a 1-0 lead in this match. Gets the 1 point, takes a 1-0 lead. And as a result, will need to win one more race in order to progress to the semi-finals. But Olive is going to do his best to make sure that does not happen. Yeah, if both runners are ready to go again, they can make their way back to the title screen and the cutscene, and then we can get things started again. But yeah, GG's to both runners. It's always difficult dealing with, you know, things go wrong in the tournament race, and then trying to be able to deal with it and recover and go on to the next trick, next thing. It's such a challenging thing to be able to keep those keep your mind fresh, as it were, keep your, you know, not conscience clear, but you know what I mean, like that kind of mental fortitude to keep going. And both runners actually did a really good job of that in this race. It was really good to see.
My dear Frodo, you asked me once if I had told you.
Like Olive's just sorting out control. Yep. Then we'll get started. Laser's at the point where he's ready.
Long ago, in a land far away to the east, there was the city of Dale. Peaceful.
Waiting for Olive to start and get to the unskippable cutscene. Oh, sorry, not the unskippable cutscene. Get to the point where you can skip the cutscene.
Prosperous.
Like, Laser is ready. Do have a decent sized delay on Olive's side, but that's fine. Okay, there we go. They're both ready. So in that case, I'll start the countdown in 3, 2, 1, go. Good luck again, runners. So yeah, this race has the potential to be absolute cinema. I will say that. Both of them, I think, after that first race, have a point to prove. I actually see Olive being slightly further ahead than Laser here. I might see if I can update Laser's stream and get it a bit further back. Yeah, it is quite far behind. That is all good. We'll try and fix that. But yeah, in the meantime, both of them have a point to prove here, right? Olive twice was handed that race on a silver platter, but just couldn't get through, just couldn't make it work. Very unfortunate. On the flip side of things, Laser must feel like he's got away with one. He recovered well, but he had no right to win with that kind of time. 26-24 in a quarterfinal race, no right to win with that kind of time against someone like Olive as well. You feel like both of them have got to go back to the drawing board, back to the well of consistency that got them one this far in the tournament, and two, some really strong PBs, some really solid PBs, the pair of them. But yeah, it's going to be a difficult mental reset for both of them, I think. We'll see gem skip if Laser can avenge gem skip this time. Laser's gems were not, well, obviously had to do the gem run. We'll see if that happens again. Goes for the double jump, pauses. He plays that quite late on the dropout. Olive plays it much safer. And it pays off for Olive. But it pays off for Laser more, I guess, this time around, because Laser doesn't end up losing... or doesn't end up losing that minute and a half that he lost in the first race. And we might have a race on here. It's very good to see. Love it when the races are close, but also competitive. And yeah, Laser just needs to win this race. Olive needs to win basically the next 2 races in order to survive. Which is, you know, if you're Laser, it's a lot better of a position. Olive maybe less so, but yeah. How it goes. How it goes. We'll see in the kind of micro optimization here. It looks like Laser's pulled out a small lead. Small lead is I guess relatively meaningless at this stage. I mean, it's still useful. Don't get me wrong, any lead is a good lead, but there's so much more that can happen, as we've seen in the first race. Laser gets a perfect hit on the gold gem. That is insane. That is something I've not seen before. We see the strategy with Olive of being so much pickier on the gems, and hasn't seemed to work out that well for him. Laser, meanwhile, going for barrier skip, gets... misses it. Okay. Really bad for Laser. That's 20 to 30 seconds lost here. Let's see, Olive's attempted it. Olive gets it cleanly. So Olive, despite having a bit of a not too strong gems, has pulled something back here. And yeah, we'll be in a decent position, and we can visually see how much that's kind of swayed things. Laser's got to do this backup with hovering over the kill plane. Hovering's a tech we haven't really spoken about in that first race, but what you've got to do, basically just in this buddy up state, you just attack, spam attack, and the character will just keep on attacking. But if you do that off an edge, but you're not pressing a direction when the animation ends or starts, then you just get infinite horizontal distance. Like, the game doesn't check for a collision below you. And you can use that to just get infinite horizontal distance. It's slow, so it is avoided as much as possible, but it is possible. Right, let's see if Olive can avenge the gold room jumps problems from last time. Yeah, very clean from Olive. Absolutely fantastic. And yeah, Olive's going to have a lead. Laser's doing the 1P strats. Gets the buffer jumps cleanly. And then we'll be going for this trigger hit. Misses the trigger. That's unfortunate. And all of a sudden, this 1P strat that saves 1.5 has just ended up losing time for Laser. There are arguments to both strategies there, for sure. Laser, of course, chooses... I think Laser's choice in not going for it is the fact that getting the vertical buddy up is not always consistent. You need a vertical buddy up to do the buffer jumps. And Laser, yeah, doesn't get that. Or doesn't want to go for that in a run, which is, you know, fair enough. I understand that. It makes a lot of sense. But, yeah. We see as a result, Oliver's pulled out a 15-second lead. 5:35 for Olive. I mean, they're much closer to PBs this time. Significantly so. About 2 minutes closer each, almost both of them. At least a minute and a half. We'll see Olive's attempt at bush launch first. Gets the body up, and P2 goes up? What? That's not one I've seen before, but just sneaks over with the second attempt. So we'll be maintaining a lead across the this kind of out of bounds area that we travel along. Laser, meanwhile, second try as well, although probably a slightly quicker second try. In the grand scheme of things, that doesn't matter too much. It's certainly good news for Olive. You know, Laser matching Olive here, but yeah, not too bad at all from either. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see what both of them are able to do, you know, this time round. Olive had difficulties with sign launch, for sure. Yeah, had to get it second try with a really slow kind of fall down and death, and that allowed Laser to actually take a lead. Or, not take a lead, bring back the race to about even, or exactly even, out of looking for proof. But we'll see if Olive has the same maladies this time. I doubt it, but you never really know. Never really know is the thing. But yeah, we'll see what happens here. As both of them are doing the hovers. Yeah, we'll see Olive's attempt at sign launch. Buddy's up, aiming in the right place, gets the launch, and lands on top. Perfect from Olive. Exactly what you want. Laser will be going for it as well now. And Olive also gets a really clean looking for proof inside. That was very good from Olive. We'll see how Laser's one is in a second. Gets the fall down. Yeah, very nice from both. And it'll be interesting to see their splits as they leave this level. Laser just taking the death to get down to 0 studs. And there we have it. Laser with a 849, Olive with an 835. They played within a second of each other during that split. And quite frankly, it's status quo. It's exactly where we were at the end of the last split. Simple as that. Very, very good from both runners. 259 looking for proof with a second try bush launch is good for Laser. 3 minutes is good for Olive with a second try bush launch. Optimally, if they're pushing for, you know, PBs, they'll want maybe a little bit more. But actually, both of them saved a tiny bit of time to their PBs with their looking for proofs. Laser saved 1.5 and Olive saved 0.2 or something. But it's birdless time. Birdless being a 1 try, with a potential 1 try backup if they miss it. But it's a tough trick, and it'll be a real... Well, it'll immediately split the two runners if one of them gets it and the other one misses it. Olive gets the spot, just has to wait for enough time. We'll see if Laser can do the same. Laser also gets the spot, so hopefully we'll wait for enough time as well. I'd imagine they're both going to play it quite safe in terms of the time they wait. Get a launch here from Olive. Almost goes too far, I think. Almost goes past the collision. Bit of a change from last time where he barely made it over. Laser goes for it as well. Gets it. Yeah, very clean from both. That's what we want to see. We've got a good, high quality race between both runners. Both of these runners, I think, right now have the potential to get 23s with the runs they're on. Of course, both their PBs are in the low 23s. Both 23 20s. So, yeah, getting a 23, playing within 40 seconds of PB. If I was either of them, I'd be saying that's job well done. And yeah, as they go into this Azog fight, once again, they're going to be hoping that the button mashing goes well. Not always the easiest thing. to time, but hopefully it'll work for both of them. Well, yeah, we'll see how it goes. Looks relatively clean from both. I mean, I haven't been able to see any obvious mistakes from either, which I guess it's always a good sign, but it's definitely what you want here. And yeah, it looks like the lead is maintained. Maybe Lazer's closed in a little bit. It's difficult to see. But yeah, they go into this fight. This fight, relatively straightforward. We shouldn't see any major swings either way from both. Looks like Olive's going to be like a tiny fraction of a phase ahead. At least on our screens, but yeah, pretty close between the two. And yeah, both of them taking the deaths for 0 studs. Yeah, pretty straightforward, pretty simple. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see how much variation there is in times between the two runners here. Obviously, neither of them are using room splits, at least for tournament play we require all the runners to use level splits rather than room splits. But that means that we don't actually get to see truly what's going on at any given instance. We only get to see it at kind of the end of each section. But yeah, I'd imagine this is a split with very little variance. If I had to guess, Lazer has a tiny bit of a better Necromancer on the whole. I'm not sure who has the better set of golds here. I can try and find that information, but it's going to be close either way. And yes, in fact, as we finish this phase, it looks like Lazer does have the better gold. It's difficult to tell because Olive hasn't put room splits in the thing. But as we see the splits, I mean, come on. You guys wanted cinema of races. First race had a 0-second difference out of level 2 between both runners. This race has a 1-second difference out of level 3. Lazer, though, gets on the... doesn't get Icicle Launch. That was really unfortunate for Lazer. That gives Olive a chance, and this looks good for Olive. Lazer was literally pixels away from making that. That is very sad for Lazer. Will incur that kind of time loss, and it's certainly advantage Olive. Probably allowed Olive to stretch out another 5 seconds, maybe. And yeah, we'll see how this on the doorstep goes for Olive. Goes for the D-pad setup. That's Mega's new setup to try and make it work. And I don't know how I feel about it. It just sometimes Balin just doesn't play ball. That's not enough height to work, and this might be good for Lazer, but Lazer's in a similar situation here. Gets a buddy up, gets the jump. Olive not too far behind, but Olive will have the chance to catch up with a good vertical buddy up, because Olive will be going for statue skip. Lazer will be playing it safe and not going for statue skip, and then, well, this on the doorstep exit, at least from this room, could be too close to call. Olive gets the setup for the jump around the corner while Lazer's breaking the axe plate here. And it comes down to how quick the statue skip is. They could be pretty much neck and neck if the statue skip is first or second try. But Olive struggling a little bit. Gets it third try. Third try looks like it's given Lazer the lead back. But Lazer will be trying to get the horizontal buddy up here. Olive gets a horizontal as well. Well, maybe not unintentionally. But we'll be going for the spin as well, and they're both in this corner spinning. Lazer gets it first. Olive needs to get it soon. Way sooner than that. It's not looking good for Olive. Nearly gets a lucky jump up there, but doesn't quite work. And it's just not working. Olive's just struggling here. Gets it eventually. We'll be able to get 0 studs as well. But yeah, Lazer's definitely stretched out the lead a little bit more here. We'll see the splits once Olive also completes this room as well. Lazer does get 0, or doesn't get 0 studs though. Might be a bit of a problem. It might allow Olive a little bit of respite, but yeah, it's not great for Olive. And in fact, look at that. It's gone from a 15-second difference now. Both of them with below par on the doorsteps, it has to be said. And now Lazer has the advantage to close out this match. You got to say it's in Lazer's hands now. And out of the two, I probably favor Lazer in this level. Very technical level. Is some RNG with launches and stuff. But yeah, incredibly technical level. I've got to give the nod to Lazer here. We're going to see they're not even a layer, like there's not even a layer between them. We've seen way bigger leads than this be squandered in different races here. I think if Olive gets 2-0'd here, he's been hard done by. Lazer is a strong runner but hasn't shown his best today, and that'll be something that also Hamster and Dedra are watching on the same side of the draw. To see if they can try and grab something there, try and salvage something, or give them a little bit of hope, that a little bit of confidence that Lazer's, you know, not as strong maybe as he could be, at least not at the moment. Yeah, we'll see how this goes. As they're coming down to the camera, well, Olive's coming down to the camera pan skip here, and Lazer's a little bit further below. Lazer will be going for chandelier skip, which is probably the big test that both of them will be going for here. And it looked like both got the camera pan skip. Lazer got a clean chandelier skip, and we'll be going into the unskippable cutscene relatively comfortable. It's probably about maintaining the lead, if I had to guess. It is difficult to tell because I know there is some delay and Olive has a bit worse loads, but that's kind of my read on it right now. Yeah, this could be a cinema ending between the two. Like, all it takes is a good or a bad jack launch on either side, and then, you know, all of a sudden, oh, who knows where we are.
I was just saying, your reputation precedes you, O Smaug the tyrannical. Truly, you have no equal.
But yeah, we see now, yeah, both in the unskippable cutscene. Laser probably with that lead, probably maintained or even grew that lead a little bit during the rolling section, and has 3 launches left to be able to cement the semi-final spot. Be huge for Laser if it happens. But Olive's going to do everything he can to try and stop it happening.
I did not look to see you so easily outwitted.
And yeah, that'll be interesting to see. Both of them can have troubles with the launches. Laser has been deadly consistent on his launches though. Maybe not Jack launch, but yeah, has been rather consistent across the board. So it'll be interesting to see what Laser can pull out here. But Olive's got to try and take this to a game 3.
Get those bellows working. Go!
It's scary, but yeah. Olive's in that must-win situation. Let's see how Laser takes on this very first bit. Gets launch number 1. Gets the good height. Gets over. So that's 1 out of 3 done. It's now got to get Loz launch. And Loz launch has been not the easiest maybe for Laser. Been struggling a little bit. Fails the buddy up first try. And second try. Opening the door for Olive slightly. Gets third try. Gets the height. While Olive gets the first launch. Laser gets the second launch. And if Olive gets a clean Loz launch, it's closer. Olive gets a buddy up first try, gets a jump, and that is a really good height on the Loz launch as well. That was a really, really solid room from Olive. I don't think you could really play much better than that. Laser has got to pray for something here. Oh, sorry, Olive has got to pray for something here that happens in Jack launch, because this 1P2C for the kind of high level runners we have should be pretty straightforward. It should be, you know, pretty much they can do it in their sleep. But we could see something happen in Jack launch. So many runs have come down to Jack launch today. Realistically, anything can happen. Neither of them are on a PB pace, but that doesn't matter. All that matters is beating the person that's in front of you, getting that win, getting over that line. We're seeing Laser go for Jack launch. Already switches to Dory with the player on keyboard. We'll be breaking the box, positioning the characters. A little bit slow, waiting for the debris to clear. I wonder why. That's an interesting way of doing it. Fails Jack launch first try, and the door is open. The door is open for Olive. Olive's got to clear this debris. Laser gets a really good launch. Olive is struggling. And Laser finishes, and I think with Olive struggling, that may be it. We'll see on the final times if Olive can get this Jack launch. It's just not happening. It just doesn't seem to be working for Olive. That is really unfortunate. Like, something about this Bilbo setup, something about these pieces just doesn't seem to be working. Seeing Laser get to 24:04, that is a solid run. Not a, you know, miracle working run or anything, but that is a solid enough run. Very unfortunate for Olive. I think this is definitely going to be GG's. Yeah, this is what Jack launch can do. And you've got to say Olive didn't take his chances in the first match. Jack launch can just do this sometimes, but, you know, huge credits to Laser for coming through. And, you know, rebounding from the missed gem skip in run 1 and the crash in run 1. Kept it going. And yeah, got a decent enough time. Olive is just, it's so unfortunate, but this is just the way Jack launch can go. I don't know if Oliver is aware of like the splits or anything. Yeah, it's just not getting anybody up. I don't know if there's a piece stuck there or something, but yeah, just nothing is happening. Nothing's coming to fruition, and that's so unbelievably unfortunate. Just doesn't seem to be working. kind of thing can happen with Jack Launch, even to very, very top level runners. Kind of thing can happen. But yeah, this was 100% Lazer's run to go out and get, and Lazer has done it. So that'll be obviously on the sheet. That'll be 2 wins for Lazer, and with that taking the match. And Jack Launch is just doing its thing. Jack Launch gives, and Jack Launch takes away. At this point, it's more a matter of principle for Olive to get this, and I really hope he can. He's had such a good tournament. It's put in some incredible results. Obviously, you know, took a sweep in week 1, which was absolutely fantastic to see. Swept week 1 against his opponents. And then week 2 qualified in the 4th seed slot with a 2nd place finish, shutting out Mega. Mega got no points in that race. But yeah, qualified at that instance, but since then has improved PB all the way down from like a mid 25 or a high 24 or something down to a low 23. Yeah, Julikos is right in chat. Swept against Julikos and Mugen. But yeah, Olive's trying anything to make this work. Come on, Olive. You got this. Getting so many turns here, but it's just not working. The only thing I can suggest in this situation is switching Bilbo out for Dory, but who knows whether that would work or not in this position. And so many character swaps just to get something that works. It just isn't, it's not even like not getting a buddy up or anything. It's just literally nothing's happening. That's so rough for Olive. It's so unfortunate. No fault of his own. It's just, it's one of those things. I think if I was Olive, the only consolation I can take is that, yeah, the only consolation I can take is that even with the perfect Jack launch, I don't think it was going to work for Olive. Interestingly, Olive electing to go back to menu and reload to see if it was something wrong with just collision loading or something. We'll see if that makes a difference. But yeah, gets the... Goes for the buddy ups again. Gets a decent buddy up. And finally gets Jack launch. Super unfortunate for Olive. 5 minutes later than Lazer got it. And you gotta say, Jack launch gives and Jack launch takes away. That's so unfortunate. But yeah, phenomenal tournament from Olive. Huge progress. Unlucky to get 2-0 today. But that's how tournaments go. That's how it works. But yeah, GG's to both runners, especially to Lazer. Take nothing away from Lazer. Lazer recovered really well from the mistakes and the crash in the first race, and then put together a really solid second race, which was just enough to be able to get through it. So yeah, GG's to both runners. But of course, with the 2-0, that'll be it for the match today. Let's have a look at the top 8 bracket now. So now we have 2 semi-final matches completed in our top 8. We have our 4th seed at the start of the tournament, Lazer, coming through against Olive with that 2-0 victory. And then on the other side of the draw, we have Jack against Julikos. That was the match on Monday. And Jack, again, won that 2-0 with 2 very solid runs against Julikos. which means that we have 2 matches left in this quarterfinal stage before we go towards the semi-finals. And those matches are Hamster against Dedra will be the first one, taking place tomorrow at 5:30 Eastern Time. That'll be a very interesting match. Hamster, clear favourite right now for the tournament and for that match. But we'll see if Dedra can pull off a shock upset. And yeah, pull something out the bag and yeah, get a really strong time there. The other match will be myself against Mega, and again that'll be a really tough match for both of us. I think mine and Mega's PB is about 10 seconds different. Both of us are very solid runners. Mega's improved a lot to get to this point and has had some fantastic results. I got lucky in my first race and qualified in the very first match. But yeah, that's part of the fun. So 5:30 Eastern for that first match between Hamster and Dedra, and then 8 PM Eastern for the match between myself and Mega. But yeah, that is it from us today. Thank you very much for watching, as always. And yeah, GG's once again to Lazer for winning this match, and we will see you guys very soon.